morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're listening or watching this latest episode of TurfCast podcast with me, Joe Redmond, and as usual, my friend Simon Townley. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Very well, thanks. I'm glad we started that again. It was rather cheerful for considering the result last night. We started too bright there. We needed to bring the tone down a little bit.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say thanks. You, obviously, to those of you that don't know, I didn't watch the watch along. Simon did the watch along for me last night because I was in this room where I am now on the computer behind me, working, which was a bit of a shitter. I did finish at half time though, so I managed to catch the second half, but that was the most boring part. We just didn't do anything. But yeah, we'll get into the game in a minute. How are you, mate? You alright?
I'm very well, yeah, good, thank you. Just enjoying the weather. It's a bit rainy.
Yeah, it's a bit miserable today, isn't it? As we were just saying off air, it was raining where you were, but not where I am. It's hit where I am now. It's raining here as well.
Shit weather.
Yeah, shit weather. And I don't even live far away for those who are thinking. I live literally the other side of Burnley. So yeah, the weather's not the best. But other than that, all good?
Yeah, positives and negatives to talk about this week. So it's an interesting one, really. Did you get to watch the match yourself? I know you were working. I know you had a little screen in the corner.
Yeah, I put that on Instagram, didn't I? I've got I had my running order open, my bloody horse racing thing open, and everything else, and in the bottom corner I just had a little screen of Burnley playing Man United. So I managed to watch the first half, and obviously I finished at 9, and that's when half time was. So I went downstairs and watched the second half downstairs, and obviously watched you boys on the watch along. That's when I was texting saying Simon needs to update the ticker below. Jared, get Simon to update the ticker. Sorry. Well, I text Jared and he was like, Simon, you need to update the ticker mix. It still said I think it was like the 75th minute, and he said second half starting soon.
Yeah, I had a nightmare with that, but I'll tell you off the podcast. Our phone, Safari wouldn't let me on StreamYard. He said that this browser's not supported.
Were you using Chrome?
So I downloaded Chrome, which is when I text you saying, get ready for another thing. Chrome doesn't support it either on phones. So I wonder what got on. But basically, like when you update your iPhone, I'm on what we're on now, like 14.2.
Yeah.
There's a 14.3 and I have to update that. But obviously I couldn't do that 10 minutes before kick-off, could I?
Yeah, fair enough. But anyway, thanks for doing it. Did you enjoy it? It looked good. It looked decent, good. Apart from the banner, obviously.
Apart from the banner, yeah, I got that wrong a bit. But it looked alright. Yeah, we did. I did a little surprise for the boys, but we nominated man of the match. None of us could decide a man of the match though, but we'll get into that later. But we let the audience, viewers, do a poll on there. I know you do your own as well, but I just said, look, we can't decide who's man of the match.
Yeah, well, I only do it if we get beat. I don't tend to do one, so I won't be doing one this week.
So
that's a little bit
the majority was
chosen.
chosen.
Right last night.
Well, yeah, I won't say obviously who yet, but the majority was chosen, and then I introduced them to the new man of the match banner in the corner. They loved it. Went down well. Did
it? Happy days. How did it go down with the audience?
Yeah, I don't really know. I was too excited myself, but the lads enjoyed it.
Fair enough. Just before we get started, I do want to give a quick mention to our sponsors there on the bottom of your screen now if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook on Friday. If you're listening on the podcast, I'll just give you a quick rundown of who they are and what they do. It is, of course, Pitch Sport. They've been sponsoring us for just under a year now. We're getting to the year anniversary. In fact, no, I think they've been sponsoring us for over a year because I remember they were sponsoring us before the COVID situation. So yeah, big shout out to Pitch. They've been loyal to us. They've been sponsoring us for a long time. And it'd mean a lot to me if everyone listening to this went and downloaded the app and just got involved and stuff like that. It's basically, like I say every time, it's like a fan hub. You go on there, you talk to Burnley fans, you talk to fans of other clubs, and you can make predictions, predict your team lineups, and give your sort of like thoughts after the game as well. And of course, every single week there is a fan time question, which we will get into later on. We will discuss the most recent one, and then I will be uploading another one pretty much straight after this podcast. And I will be sort of like advertising that on the socials as well. So please, if you haven't already, please do download Pitch Sport. It's available on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Get it downloaded. Call for you for Christmas.
Yeah. And just another thing before we get started, if you are watching on YouTube, you'll notice there's a few. We're trying different things. Hopefully it is noticed and appreciated. Now, you will notice that my camera's a little bit behind. So if you are watching this, I might be a little bit out of sync. I apologise for that. I have no idea why it's doing that. I think this computer is just not good enough. Basically, it's a MacBook, so you think it would be good enough, and it's like a year old, just over a year old. But when I bought it just for sort of like family living. It was never to do with streaming or anything like that. Since then, I ended up having to edit like 4K videos of Bradford City Football Club, and I'm doing 4K streams now. So I think essentially I just need a better computer. But when they're like 1,000, 1,500 quid, £2,000 a pop, we might have to do out of sync videos, or I might just go back to the FaceTime HD camera because I'm just out of, it's not too bad.
Right,
I'm at half
put
a
the
second.
HD camera on. Right, show them how good it is. Put it on.
Right,
Sure.
hold on. Right, so
those
that's
who can't
the
see,
HD. That's the
look at
FaceTime
difference.
HD camera apparently.
Look
It
at
obviously it's much better. The DSLR
It has
is much better. The DSLR is much better. I don't get all this grainy shit. Why is it so grainy? It reckons it's HD. That's not HD. That. Anyway, no one needs two jaws on the stream, so we'll get rid of that one.
Yeah.
But one's enough. But yes, I just to put it out there, if you're wondering why I'm like a second out of sync or whatever, that's why. So we will keep trying.
Teething problems. That's all.
Yeah, we'll keep trying and working it out. Hopefully it gets better. But like I said, I do think the computer's just not got enough RAM and it can't handle doing so much at once. But anyway, people always have a go at us, say, "Oh, you go around the houses too much. Just talk about the bloody footy." We've done 7 minutes of going around the houses, so we'll get into the footy. Obviously, we've got 2 games to discuss. We've got players to discuss. We've got FA Cup draws to discuss. So let's get into it. We'll start with the Manchester United game. Obviously, I will leave this one largely down to you. But there's a lot to discuss in this Man United game. There was VAR controversies. There was goals that should have been given something and shouldn't have been given. We'll get into that. There's team selections, there's substitutions, but we'll start just with the overall performance and results. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Simon, what did you think of the game and the Clarets' performance?
I think there's levels of frustration there, but it's a game of two teams, as I keep saying. I've said it many a time now on the podcast. It's attack and the defence. There's two sides at the minute. Defensively, I think we nullified them for the majority of that game. Even when they were getting into the box and they were bringing it down, we weren't allowing them to turn in the box and get the shots away. To basically stop them, I think they only had 3 serious shots on target. And then just sort of stop a team with that firepower up front. You've got Cavani, Martial, Rashford, and not to mention Fernandes behind them. Well, I just did mention him, but you've got a serious sort of attack there, and we nullified that for the majority of the game. And then to score, the only way they did score was by the unluckiest little nick off Bakalout's left leg that's just took it through the legs of Nick Pope. I mean, if his legs were short, if Matt were an inch to the left, he would have blocked it. So it was literally, that was the thing that decided the game, and that's that's a good thing to think about. I don't think that's a negative. Marginal luck, has decided the game. But then that's just the overall performance. There were so many little things to frustrate you.
For me, I thought we played relatively well defensively. I'll just basically tell you what I put on Twitter. I summed it up perfectly on Twitter. If you want to follow me personally on Twitter, you can. It's
if you do say so yourself.
Listen, I know that I talk sense. Basically, what I put on Twitter is Burnley were solid defensively again, but up top is still a concern, especially Wood's form. We won't talk too much about that. We'll get into that in a minute. I want to talk about that separately. We offered very little going forward again. Lad needs to break confidence his shot. Now, like I said, we'll discuss Wood in a minute because I do want to discuss that separately. However, I do want to touch on, like you said, you've summed it up perfectly. The defence is playing really well, but going forward, there's not much there, is there? We had a couple of half chances. There was the one that Tarky had late on, but I think I wrote on Twitter at the time, like anyone but Tarky, you can't really, begrudge Tarky for missing that. It's not his job. But other than that, there were a Vidra snapped shots. We just, again, a game where we just weren't really getting forward. You might remember a chance that I can't remember because obviously we're watching it sort of like half-arsed in the first half. But again, there's not that many chances that we're creating again. I mean, I know United are a good side, the top of the league for a reason, but you would think that we'd be creating more than nothing, basically.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because arguments are now, J-Rod and Vids up front, Barnes and Vids up front. I think people want a change, right? And that's fine, and I understand that. But my only concern is 2 big chances fell to Vids. The second one was an half a chance, but the first one for me was a definite chance. And then,
which one's that one again?
So he just basically the same shot. He's hit it off the sort of like half volley, but smashed it completely over the bar. He did the same thing 5 minutes later. He did that on the right hand side of the box in the say 85th minute, and then did it again in the 89th minute on the left hand side. I can't remember exactly the minutes. Don't quote me on them, but it was that sort of timeline. And Vids has gone through, and he's got these now. I just wish that them chances were falling for Wood, but the problem is Vid peels off because he knows he's not there to win the headers. So if Wood were peeling off, and them chances are lead to him, you've got a feeling them shots are going to go on target.
Yeah,
all right, they're going to trouble the keeper.
Yeah, well, obviously I said we were going to discuss the Wood thing, but we'll do it now because you've continued with it.
Sorry, I want about strikers in general.
But I've said it time and time again. I'm probably one of Chris Wood's biggest fans. I defend him every single week on the podcast. But I think it's got to the stage now. And just before I do say what I'm about to say, I stand by everything I've said. I do still think he is our best striker. Up until recently, any chance that I want to fall to somebody, I want it to fall to Chris Wood. But at the minute, I just think his confidence is so low, and I've said it time and time again. I was saying it this time last year in the podcast. He's always been a confidence player, even when he's at Leeds. When his goals dry up, they dry up. When he's scoring every single week and scoring some like really good finishes. But he's at the stage now where he's been at he's not scored enough goals. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And now his confidence is so low. He's not doing the things like you say, like peeling off. And like it might be all well and good saying I wish these chances would fall to Wood. So do I. I wish these chances would fall to Wood, but they're not doing. I mean, I know they have done in certain games as well, like MK Dons, he missed a couple of chances, and there's other games, again, I don't want to reel them off in case I'm wrong, but I can think of headers where Wooded last year would have scored these headers. But I think the difference is, like, I'm not Vidra's biggest fan. I do think he's on the bench and don't get many minutes for a reason. If you just, like you said, you mentioned them 2 snapshots yesterday. I don't think Woody or Barnes will snap at them like that, or even Jay. I think they, if they hit it better. But I think they probably will just try and bring it down. I think that's the difference, and then people get frustrated because they haven't hit it. But then Vidya hits it and it goes high and wide. That's why they're not hitting it. But I do think we need a change up top. I'd go with personally. I thought Barnes has been poor this season, but he's looked a lot better recently. He looked okay yesterday. I'd go with Jay. I think Jay offers a bit more than Wood at the minute, and then you can have the Wood type player in Barnes who's winning the free kicks and holding the play up, and then you can have Jay dropping into the midfield, which is what we say quite a lot, and I think that might work. I do prefer that partnership with Wood and Jay when Wood isn't out of form, but I think at the minute he just needs a break. And now all this shit about people saying, "Oh, sell him, he's not good enough." That's obviously a load of bollocks. He's just out of form. Class is permanent, form is temporary. He's out of form. That's all.
If we're going on that logic, Nick Pope would have been sold after 6 games this beginning of the season.
Exactly.
It worked going well for him.
He's still a class striker. He's still the best striker that we have. He just needs a break. And if Shodash says to him, says, "Look, you're not playing good enough. You need to sit on the bench for a bit," and then he comes back in 4 games, he's going to be more fired up. I think it'll work wonders for him. Obviously, time will only tell if that does, or even if Dash does it, which I don't think he will. I think Wood and Barnes will start again against West Ham on Saturday. But I honestly believe that is the best course of action for Chris Wood. Just give him a break. Just give him a few games out. Tell him he has to fight for his place. I think that's another problem. He knows he's in the squad all the time because the squad depth isn't there. We don't have anybody to bring on. Like, everyone was all of a sudden thinking Vidra's this massive saviour. He missed his penalty against MK Dons. You know what I mean? And it's just
there's certain players
that
get away with certain things.
Exactly. But I do appreciate. Exactly. And if Wood had done that shot that you just mentioned against Man United,
they'd have been hooking him off themselves.
Yeah. But I understand. Just going back to the point you made about Vidra peeling off, I think that's the difference. I think we need him to come on earlier. Bringing him on in the 85th minute, as much as I'm saying I'm not his biggest fan, I do think he deserves more, and I would start him if
Wood or
Vidra. I would start Vidra. If we give Jay and Barnes a chance now, and that doesn't work, he does need to play, but he can't do anything from the bench. But what my point is, Wood is out of form. He's not shit. He's out of form. Give him a break. Get him dropped. Give him a few games off, make him come back in a few games, firing. Hopefully ready to prove everybody wrong, and then give Vidra more than 5 minutes. What's Vidra going to do in 5 minutes? Because it's all well and good saying he snatched at these shots. Like, he might have had his eye in if he'd have played 90 minutes at that point, or even 15 minutes. He might not have snatched at him. You know what I mean? It's just all these team selections for me are wrong at the minute. Like, he's getting it wrong up top for me, is Dash, and his substitutions are wrong. I don't know what it is with Dash and his subs. They're just too late. Every single week they're too late. But yeah, go on. If you want to add anything, I'll let you know. I've rabbited on a bit on that one, but that's my thoughts.
No, I fully agree with your opinion on it, because there's no right or wrong in this. Is a break the best thing for him? Is it to keep him running, to get that 1 or 2 goals, and then he's away again? There's no right or wrong answer in this. This is all about that player, that individual, what fires him up. And for me, from what I know of him, I think he'll be itching to start on Wednesday. And I don't think sitting on a bench would motivate him more than just thinking, I need to get that goal. I don't think he needs any more motivation, myself personally. When
you say Wednesday, I presume you mean Saturday.
What did I say? Wednesday. Sorry, West Ham.
To start on Wednesday.
I meant to say it should start against West Ham, so I don't even know where Wednesday comes from. But yeah, he is the best option. He really is. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Vince is an exciting option. Vince is a game changer. There's certain players in my footballing life that have been far better coming off a bench than they have been starting. And from our Burnley experiences with Vidra, it seems to be that he is good coming off the bench. But like you said, he needs time off the bench. You can't give him 5 minutes. He needs half an hour. He needs a proper run. Solskjaer, the man sat next to Dash yesterday, he made a career of being a super sub. He didn't necessarily win your games when he started. There's other players in the Premier League that have done this, but 5 minutes when you're 1-0 down isn't enough. Well, it was 10 minutes, I think, weren't it, yesterday? But it's not enough for me. I think he needs to come on. When Dwight come on, a double sub, right? Attack versus defence isn't working now. We're 1-0 down. Bring Dwight, bring Vids on. We need to get back into this. Then the thing that sort of stands out to me is that Dash thinks that all 11 players are defence partnerships. They're all involved in this defending as a unit. So is that why he doesn't take subs off? Like, is that why he doesn't change the front men? Because does Wood offer a contribution defensively that, for example, Vidra doesn't?
Well, he does, to be fair, doesn't he? Because he's better at defending set pieces.
And then with Dwight, there was a couple of times that Johnny Tate mentioned, where's Dwight there? Because Peters were doing an overlap. And then he got stuck in a cul-de-sac, and Dwight's just sort of running towards him, but at a snail's pace. And he is the best player we've got, is Dwight McNeil. There's no doubt about that. But he offers a different type of game.
Yeah.
So I do think we need Dwight back. I still think there's no need to panic. The fact is, I think we only lost 1 in 7 games, before this game. I still think Chris Wood has played in every single one of them, so it's a bit harsh to say like this is the reason for all our problems, because we're actually not doing that bad. But we have. Yeah, but
going forward, I think, like we said, going forward is the main concern, isn't it? And it isn't just Wood; it is we're not creating as many chances as last season.
My issue.
I think McNeil's form is a worry as well. Although recently, I think he has been a bit better. Like you say, yesterday he didn't really get much chance, but recently he has been a bit better. But he's still not the McNeil.
He looked good yesterday.
Yeah, he's still not the McNeil creating like he was last season, and especially the season before. I don't know what it is. Maybe like the defensive shackles are on them even more this season or what. But I think for me, I do think we need to give Wood a break. I'm mainly worried because I know how much of a confidence player he is, and I don't want him to. For his confidence to become completely shot that he doesn't recover at all this season. I think we need to give him a break and hopefully come back. But anyway, that, by the way, before I move on, the banner, the Pitch Sport banner is the bottom of your screen again if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. That will be this week's question on Pitch Sport. So if you want to go and answer it, feel free to pause the podcast now. The question will be: is it time to drop Chris Wood, or I'll word it a bit better? Is it time to give Chris Wood a break? Because I think it is. So that will be the question on Pitch Sport this week.
We haven't even talked about ref yet.
I'm getting there. Don't worry.
We've got loads to talk about.
But yeah, before we talk about the VAR decision, I'm in the minority on this one. The Maguire disallowed goal.
Group, I think.
No, I'm not. The Maguire disallowed goal. What do you think?
It was a goal. There's no doubt for me. Peters is running backwards.
I think most Burnley fans agree with you. Yeah. I've noticed most Burnley fans do agree with you now. Yeah, on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe I'm being victim of Claret tinted glasses here. I just think he's leading with his arm. He's completely clattered him. And Peters, he could do better. He could actually look at where Maguire is and know where his man is. But I think for me, it's the arm that does it. And the fact that his arm's there, he leads with it. I don't think there's no malice intent in it. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying the fact that he's jumping. I mean, I know you have to jump with your arms, but it could do it without leading it into Peters. It could do it and then, I don't know, and just not lead into Peters is basically what I'm saying.
Let's be honest. But if you watch the replay, the hand touches his back first, and then his arm bends into a bent position, which leads you to see that Peters is actually the one backing in. Because if you was leading with your arm, it would be sort of like elbow and forearm at the same time.
Yeah.
It's more of a holding Peters off. Peters has gone because he's underneath. We're lucky, mate. We are lucky for me because Peters is going back. Maguire's got the momentum. He's got the heart. He's ended up just going underneath. It's one of them sort of where the defender jumps and the striker's going backwards. Defender goes over the top. It's one of them sort of scenarios. But the defender usually wins them decisions because the striker backing in. It was the same scenario for me. But on the watch along, majority was saying no goal. So I was the minority. In fact, I was the only one on the watch along saying it was, for me, it was a goal. I watched a bit of MUTV because David Jones were on there last night, and they were flabbergasted. Is a good word for that one. None of them could get their head around it.
Yeah, I just think for me, like I said, I think he's leading with his arm, whether he's backing in or what. I just think he's leading with his arm, and then like you say, his arm sort of like changes, and that for me that's climbing. Surely he's clattered him, and then he's climbing. That's what I thought about it anyway. But maybe it is. Maybe the majority do agree with me because we're all Clarets. But I've noticed I put a tweet up about it yesterday saying, "All right, so you can just climb into players now," because a lot of the big accounts like Footier Comes and Squawker and stuff like that were all saying, ridiculous. And I said, so you now when you're a big six player, you can just climb into people, can you now? And I've got a lot of grief basically on that tweet off Burnley fans. So maybe it is just a vocal minority in there, but it's definitely split anyway. And like you say, it's definitely contentious. And a lot of people use the excuse, if that were Burnley, you'd be pissed off. But that's no excuse not to give a free kick, is it? If it's a foul, it's a foul. But it is a poor refereeing decision, not the fact that he's disallowed it. It's similar to the Ben Mee incident at Leeds when he gets clattered. Allow the goal and let VAR look at it. If it's something so wrong in it, VAR will disallow it. But again, he doesn't. He disallows the goal, and once he's disallowed the goal, then that's it. You can't bring it back apparently in them situations. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Once you've disallowed a goal like that, again, all the VAR rules are all different. They change every time. I can't really keep up with them. But that was one refereeing thing.
I was going to say that we've not even agreed on that, and we've not pre-talked this at all. So I do think that's the next one's harder.
Yeah, well, I don't. So obviously, we're going to go into the VAR decision now. For those that missed the game or need a bit of a recap, Johan Berg Gudmundsson and Luke Shaw go for each other on the edge of the Man United box. Luke Shaw wins the tackle cleanly or uncleanly. We'll get into that. Man United then break. Ben Mee, you don't know what Ben Mee's doing, picking his arse, just stood there watching the ball. Can easily just head it away, man, and all this trouble will be avoided. I think, as the commentator on my perfectly legal stream said, I think he's just dallying and he gets caught sort of like, because Johan's on the floor, so I think he just doesn't really know whether to play on or not, and he just gets caught for two mans, and obviously it goes through. And then, is it Cavani through on goal? And Robbie Brady brings him down. Now, we'll start off with
at the beginning.
We'll start off at the beginning. So Westwood takes the centre. The Westwood kicks off. Oh, you don't mean that beginning, right? Sorry. So Johan and Luke Shaw.
He kicked off and then took the knee. Did you not see that?
I missed. No, I've joined it like 2 or 3 minutes late.
The referee blew his whistle, so everyone gets down on one knee. He kicks off to everyone on one knee and then thinks shit, so he gets down on one knee, and then and then it shows him pans into him laughing, and then the ball just rolls back to him.
Miss that. But yeah, Luke Shaw, Johan Berg Gudmundsson. Your thoughts? Red card, yellow card, not even a foul. What are you thinking?
So in the real time of it, I didn't see anything other than a coming together. I thought it might be a foul, it might not be a foul. I hadn't really made a decision. It was just a kind of a melee of players with a ball that come out at the end of it. And they got the break. At that point, that break's gone down, the ball's gone down, I'm panicking defensively there. So for me, I didn't see that much wrong with the foul because I wasn't up in arms thinking, stop the game, referee, what the fuck are you playing at? I was shitting myself when Ben Mee missed that header. So at the real time, I wasn't sure it was a free kick at all. Then I've seen the replays. Now the replays for me, in real time, show him clearly touching the ball before he makes contact with the player. His standing foot is flat to the ground. He does touch his ankle. Don't get me wrong. He does go straight in at his ankle, which would then be shown in slow motion to the referee. In slow motion, it's a straight red. It should be sent to jail. It's violent conduct, GBH. It's disgusting. But this is my point. The reason I'm bringing this in is because I've seen it in real time from the normal camera angle. I'm not sure it's a foul. I've seen it then in real time in a close-up, and you can see him clearly touch the ball at the other angle. And then I've seen it in slow motion, and it's violent conduct, red card. So it's difficult for the VAR to make a correct decision on that. My only criticism on this decision is it's either a red card or it's not. I don't think it's a yellow card because he touches the ball for me. I don't even think it's a foul. I think he touches the ball. So you're either saying it's violent conduct, he's lost control and it's a red card, that's why we're stopping the play, or he's won the ball, it's a good tackle. Because I said the same thing when Nick Pope won the ball with his foot and then clattered into Thinger. There were no stud showing then.
That would, a lot of Burnley fans are up in arms saying he should be sent off, Luke Shaw. I don't think he should be sent off. I think it's a foul, mainly because he's not in control. But I don't think it's like you said. It looks dangerous when it's slowed down, but I could fall over now and I'm falling onto a carpet. But you put it in slow motion and my head will be like a metre away from my desk. Exactly. Or do a stupid face like that. It's going to look a lot. Everything looks worse in slow motion. So because he is off the ground slightly, I don't think he's lost control altogether. I just think he's off the ground slightly. And then, as you say, he wins the ball and then his foot comes back up again. And that's the bit that everyone's up in arms about, I think. I'm not really sure why, because I don't think it's a red card. But you use the perfect example there of Nick Pope. Like, every single Burnley fan, me included, was saying that's not even a foul on Nick Pope. But yet the same Burnley fans are saying a similar sort of challenge from Luke Shaw is a red card. You can't have it both ways. It's either a foul and a red for both. In fact, I'll get into that, but you can't have it both ways. However, I do think Nick Pope wins the ball cleaner than Luke Shaw does. Yeah.
It's more the principle of it is the matter I'm going into. Not more. The reference is probably the wrong reference. It was more of it's one. He touches the ball first before hitting the player. For me, means it's not a foul.
Yeah.
The fact that he's touched the ball and then hit the player means it's not a foul. But if you see it as dangerous play, then it's a red card.
Exactly. If you're going to bring it back for dangerous play, that's what. On my first thought, I did think foul. I didn't think red card get him off, Thomas. I thought foul. Private joke.
The referee's not called Thomas.
Private joke. I didn't think that. But then if you're going to stop it and bring it back, what are you bringing it back for? You're bringing it back for violent conduct, or you're bringing it back for dangerous play, both of which are red card offences. Now, I don't think it's a red card offence, but if you're going to bring it all the way back, it's just one big man fuck.
I think if we're going into the next phase, which is Brady, if that hadn't happened, I do think the referee would have had a bigger decision to make.
That's why he's gone back and looked at the Luke Shaw one, for me, because he's seen that, he's gone, well, it's a red. So I now need to look at this other decision to make sure that... Otherwise, I don't think he'd have gone back to the Luke Shaw one, which again is an even bigger manfault. But I think that's why he's done it, because he knows that that's a red. He's seen that and thought, well, he's the last man, and he's completely clattered him. Brady was lucky. He probably would have got sent off for that if Luke Shaw hadn't have done what he'd done.
Well, let's go into it then. So we're playing real football now. The ball's gone.
As opposed to yesterday being fake football.
No, because I'm saying like we've gone back to the phase of players now. So I'm saying the ball, we're real time football. So the ball's gone out, the ball's gone down. Ben Mee's
out of it. Ben Mee ain't getting back.
Ben Mee's gone. Brady's got Cavani to deal with.
And was it Martial who was up with him?
There was someone over on the right, but there wasn't Burnley defender with him.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it was so much in favour of Manchester United.
Yeah.
Because Ben was out of it. He wasn't getting back because of his hesitation. Was it not Ben? Ben and Brady?
No, but Brady's gone to Cavani. Martial's at the right with somebody covering while Ben Mee's still trying to run back at this point, I think.
Right, okay. But yeah, if that is real football, as you put it,
real time.
He's gone. It's a red.
It's disgusting. It's a vile challenge. It's a striker's challenge, as he used to call it.
Yeah, it's it could have done better. Let's put it that way. It could have done better.
He scissor kicked him. He's wrapped his legs around him. He's not. I don't even know if he's made any contact with the ball. Never mind.
No, I don't think he did. I've not seen it back since. I don't think he does.
Cavani's gone down. I'm surprised. It was similar to the Wesley and Ben Mee scissor motion, but Ben Mee takes the ball.
Ben Mee wins the ball perfectly.
A lot longer and a lot cleaner, and then his follow through gets Wesley, which is unfortunate because Ben Mee makes some tackles all day, every day.
Villa fans still go on about that, by the way.
Yeah,
Villa fans still go on about
Tom
that.
Eaton, by the way. Tom Eaton defenders all the way, by the way. But Ben Mee makes some tackles all day, every day, and usually there's not a player there to take the weight of him. Brady has thought, I need to get this ball, and he's just basically gone through the player and not even touched the ball. So it wasn't even enough hip height the way he's connected with him, mate. It was,
well, it was off the ground. It was that, like I said, it was gone. There's no two ways about it. It was definitely getting sent off. Like I said, that is why the referee has gone to look at the Luke Shaw one, because he did look at the Brady one first, and he's made his mind up there. He's gone, right, that's a red. I need to make sure that play should have existed.
So this is my problem. Apart from the fact that Brady mounted Cavani like a lion hunting prey, it was more of a case of the referee blew his whistle, instantly got a card out of his pocket, and I thought he's gone here, and it was the yellow card. Now, I argued, I was up in arms at that point, because I said, fucking hell, he's either he's won the ball, ref, or it's a red card because he's last man.
Yeah.
So you can't give him a yellow. You've made the wrong decision here, ref. I'm thinking he must have seen him touch the ball to give him only a yellow. So I'm waiting for the replay, thinking, well, he's got it wrong then. I've seen the replay, and I'm thinking, how is that not a straight red?
Yeah.
So then VAR's obviously said, you need to look at this, and they were zooming in, watching the Cavani tackle. And then all of a sudden they must have said, listen, mate, he's got to go for this.
Yeah,
but let's just check that one first.
That's what I mean, yeah. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah, so he's seen that and thought it's a red.
Say that's a yellow?
He shouldn't have missed. He got everything wrong. He got everything wrong in that phase. He shouldn't have missed the Shaw challenge for me. I know you said it in real time. You didn't think it were a foul. Fair enough. I was sat here going, "Oh, fucking hell, ref, fucking hell." And then
I wasn't sure. I'm not saying definitely.
And then so he's got that wrong for me. That should have been stopped there. We should have had a free kick, which we did in the end, and we fucking wasted. Then he's got the Robbie Brady incident wrong. It's just then he's took 45 minutes to decide on VAR. It was just an absolute shit show. Correct. But I think that's pretty much it for the Man United match. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, one thing I will say is, although I thought we were unlucky, Man United deserved to win. We didn't offer anything going forward again. And I have no qualms in losing that match. I thought on the balance of play, Man United were the better side and they deserved to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree with that, mate. I thought we played defensively alright, not enough attacking, and they were clinical in that one chance that was, I know it was deflected, but we're just not taking them chances.
Have you seen the freeze frame of Pogba hitting it?
No.
Man United tweeted a picture of it, or the Premier League tweeted it. There's just so much technique in that. It's just, it doesn't even come to him cleanly, and his entire body is sort of like creased. It just looks insane. The amount of technique that he's done to get that shot away is incredible. Again, it is fortunate in the sense that it takes a deflection, then goes through Pope's legs. Another day, we draw that game 0-0, because, another day, like you say, Lowton blocks that, Lowton, I apologise. Blocks that, or even if he doesn't, Pope has got his legs shut, so it's just unfortunate. But I've got no problems with it. United deserve to win the game, and we didn't.
We move on
at the end of the day. Right, so that's what me and Simon thought of the Manchester United game. But what did the Burnley fans think of it? Here is Kieran, Neil and Anti-Football with the fan reaction. And as usual, I will encourage people to please send in their fan reactions after every single match. We are looking for as many people as possible to get involved. I'm always looking for new people, so just send them in. Just send your match reactions, 2 to 3 minutes. Just filming yourself, recording yourself. You can even do audio if you wish. just chatting about that game, and we will put it into the podcast or into the show, which goes onto YouTube as well. But here's the fan reaction from the Manchester United game.
Morning, fella Clarets. Just a recap on and thoughts on last night's game. I thought we played well, to be honest, against a very strong United side. I think that's the strongest United side that they've put out this season. First half, I thought we were a better side, just about shaded it, didn't let them play any football. We played some lovely stuff at times in the little pockets. We knocked it around quite well. Not too many long balls I didn't see last night, First half especially, I thought we played it to feet quite a bit. So I thought we shared it the first half. Second half, they come out all guns blazing, for the first 20, 25 minutes it rolled, then we couldn't get out of his own half. And then I thought after that, after they got the goal, I thought we got back to what we were doing at first half, dragging them, down to our level and making it a real dogfight. Personally, I thought we, not being biased, I thought we deserved a point at least for his efforts. I thought we played quite well. A few good individual performances. I thought Tarky were outstanding. I thought he were man at match. Ben Mee again. Port's made a couple of good saves. Not really give United any clear-cut chances, to be honest. Like I said, they had a very strong side. I thought we contained them quite well at times. Regarding the decisions, I think he's got the first one definitely wrong. I think Shaw, it's a day, in today's. I know he's gone for the ball and his eyes are on the ball all the time, but he's gone over the top. So for me, I think that's a red. I think he's got away with that one. And then obviously the Brady one doesn't happen if the referee blows and gives that correct decision. So it's irrelevant, the Brady one. So I thought that's a definite red. I thought he got that one wrong. Maguire goal, it's one of them. It could have gone both ways, but personally I think it's a foul. I think he's leaning on him and the hand, there is a bit of a push there in the back of Peters' head. So I think he got that one right. I thought the Maguire one, Maguire got lucky. And in past, I don't think it's intentional, it's not on ball, but if you're going off today's rulings, what they say, if it's your arm, it's a penalty. So, VR should have looked at that more clearly, and I think it should have been given. Dash's, a couple of selections from Dash are a bit, bringing Jay on again with 5 minutes to go. I don't know what Jay's done not to get a start. Like I said, I thought him and Vidra were playing brilliant towards the end of last season, and then all of a sudden when Barnes and Wood are both back fit, they're automatically back in the team. Thought Britain all on my hands. I thought I'm not Brady's biggest fan, but I thought Brady played quite well last night. Thought he had a decent game. Thought he were a bit harsh to be taken off. Good to see Goodmanson back again. I didn't think he had a really fantastic game, but I thought he had a decent game. I thought he would have took him off instead of Brady. I thought Brady played quite well. But I think Brady being on that yellow, I think that's what played a part in Dash's decision. But overall, it's positive. We're getting back how we used to be. I think we need to strengthen up top. Just to freshen things up. Maybe bring a young striker in. I think we need a bit of pace up top. I think Wood and Barnes are getting a bit too comfortable now that they're automatically going to be selected, which looks like the case. With Dash, I don't think he looks like he don't trust Vidra and Jay. I don't know why. Vidra's come on. He looked exciting again. He's had a great chance. Tarky's had a great chance as well. So like I said, thought we deserved a point. But onwards and upwards now. Looking forward to the weekend. Stay safe, Clarets.
Afternoon, Clarets. Man United match reaction. First half, superb by Burnley. Got stuck in. I thought we had Man United rattled. Showed a bit of creativity as well, and it went in at half time, and I thought we might be able to nick a result here. But second half, God, I thought we were given far too much respect. We stood off them far too much, and Dash needed to change it a bit earlier than he did. But that's one of the criticisms you can probably chuck at him. You don't want to criticise Dash too much, but the one thing you can criticise him is that he doesn't change the game and make changes quick enough for me. I thought Man United were nothing special first half. Apart from just always in the ref's ear, which it's annoying. But the goal was coming. We stood off them far too much, and you could just see the goal was coming. And Pogba's lucky goal, he stepped it up the second half. I don't really get the hype with him, to be honest. I've never really seen him play that well, and I didn't think he was brilliant yesterday. But second half, he turned it on a little bit and took a punt with that shot, which was a bit lucky, but you've got to do shots like that to get the look, I guess. Barnes played well. He was running about, getting the free kicks, put himself about again. I think he got a lot of harsh criticism, and I said he was off the pace when he came back, and he was fitness-wise, but I think he's showing that he's still got a contribution to make to the team. So he did well. Just needs to add goals to it. Ben Mee, Tarky, superb. I can't remember who got the man of the match. I know Ben Mee got the TurfCast one, which is the only one that matters if you ask me. Tarky might have got the Sky one, but you could make a case for either of them. I thought they were absolutely superb again. And Tarky could have nicked it at the end. Probably should have got a toe on that chance right at the end, but if that had fallen to anybody but Tarky, probably would have gone in. You don't want those chances falling to a defender. But I do think it's time. As much as I love him, and I do think Chris Wood's the best finisher at the club, I do think it's time for him to have some time out of the team now. He's just not effective, and it's been far too many games now where we haven't had a performance off him. It's not that he's he's having chances and it's not going in. It's just nothing. And I think Vidra did a lot more in the short time he came on, plus his MK as well, against MK, sorry, to warrant maybe shaking it up a little bit. And again, that comes down to Dash, because he brought J-Rod on really late. Was it 90th minute, 91st minute, something stupid like that? Well, what's he supposed to do in that time? So I think it's time for Dash to just not be so stubborn with his selection and having his favourites anymore, and just try and mix it up a bit, because the goals, they need to start coming in. That said, I think there was chances where we could have attacked, and there was a lot of backwards and sideways passing going on, which we might not have had if McNeil was playing. You know, he might have been a bit more direct, but he wasn't playing, and he hasn't played in a few games, so we need to find a way to get creativity going without him for when he is missing. Still a very Burnley performance, though. It wasn't a regression. You can't come away and say, oh, none of them turned up, we were shit, but I think it was still a Burnley performance. We still look like we're back to our best, and I do think we're fine, but we need to start getting some goals, whether it's a new striker, change the system a bit, change a different combo up front. We need to start scoring, because it is going to cost us. Our top scorer's got 3 or something like that, which is not good enough. And for me now, I think the West Ham game is really important now to get a result. We've got Liverpool after that, and I know we got a decent result at Anfield last year, but they'd sort of switched off. A lot of teams were getting results against them in the restart, but they'd already won it, hadn't they, by then? This time they've got a bit of competition, so I think they'll be fired up for it, especially if they beat Man United. So we need to get a result against West Ham, and then there's a bit less pressure on the Liverpool result, because Sheffield United winning yesterday's put a bit of pressure on. Still think we'll be fine. I still think we're better than the teams around us, and once we start scoring goals, we'll climb up the table. But for the short term, we need to make sure that we're not dragged into it and we're not getting into a scrap. So we need to start getting the points now and get that result against West Ham. I think I can't really criticise any performance, really. I think the midfield was a bit quiet, but Man United weren't outstanding either. I thought we kept them quiet. It was just that we sat off them too much, and they've just got that little bit extra that we don't, and that showed in the end. Although we could have nicked it near the end, and I think if we'd have just took a few more chances, they were probably there for the taking. So first half, I thought we gave them a good game. Second half, I heard the lads say on the watch along, deflated is probably the word. Second half, because half time I thought we got them, especially after the VAR decisions and all that sort of stuff. Brady probably should have gone, but if Luke Shaw's foul is pulled up first, then Brady's doesn't happen. So I can see why the ref came to the decision he did. But they were definitely rattled, and if we'd have just kept that intensity up second half, who knows, we might have got a result out of it. But 1-0, it's not an embarrassment, and the performance was decent enough. We'll still be alright, but we need to get a point against West Ham now, and unfortunately it is time for Chris Wood to have some time out of the team, I think. Up the Clarets, we'll still be alright.
Hey up Clarets, how we doing? Anti-football here? So, we got beat by United, didn't we? Never mind. It's always a bonus if we get out on any of them top 6 teams, isn't it? So, Sodom, we got smaller fish to fry than them that we'll beat. We'll be right, don't worry about it. Tell you what though, I thought we might scrape a point, you know. We were defending pretty well. They were backs to wall job a bit in the early part of that second half, but they needed a bloody jammy deflected goal, didn't they, to beat us, from Pogba. Pope would have had that if it weren't for that deflection. But never mind. I tell you what, they're jumping around like they bloody won league already. Them United, they're not going to win bloody league. Get out. They'll be plummeting back down before you know it. And then them fickle fans of theirs will be, oh, Ollie out, Ollie out, Ollie in, Ollie out, Ollie off. Anyway, tell you what though, in that first half, that with VAR, what a palaver with VAR. He got it right in end, to be fair, but what a lot of faffing about. Referee, if you just give a bloody free kick in first place, it was obvious it was a free kick. All that faffing about. But, you know, I think he got it right in end, to be fair. But that Maguire goal, we got away with one there, to be fair, didn't we? If one of our lads had scored that, I'd have been fuming if it had been ruled out. No wrong with that at all. Good, solid header. So, but they didn't get a pen. That's a surprise, isn't it? For United, they usually get. They were trying, weren't they? All them fannies rolling around on the floor. Ooh, penalty to penalty. But obviously we didn't get one, did we? We could have had one with that Maguire out ball. I think that would have been given earlier in the season, but now it's different ball game, isn't it? Changing rules halfway through season. But with it, I tell you what though, up front, Woody's not on it, is he? Woody, he needs a rest. I think he needs a rest. His confidence is shot. I mean, he was never ain't good at holding ball up, were he? He was always a bit clumsy and cumbersome, but he did a job, and when he's banging them in for fun, you kind of let it slide, don't you? But he's doing no to him, and no's going for him. And then when Vince came on, he looked lively, didn't he? Had a few chances. He caused more bother for their back line than in 15 minutes than Wood did all rest of the game. So if ever there's a time for him to have his chance, I think now's the time. Sean, you listening? Listen to your auntie. Give Vince a chance. All we are saying is give Vince a chance. You know, he might come good, finally. But anyway, that's enough for today. On to next game, West Ham, the Hammers, the Bubble Boys. Let's beat them and get up that table. All right, that's me for now then. Take care of yourselves. Ta-da! Do-do-do-do! Anti-football, do-do-do-do!
Well, so we beat MK Dons in the third round of the FA Cup. Not the most convincing of victories. Obviously scraped through, I think is the correct term to use, although again I got a bit of stick for that, but that's just what happens when you create a podcast page and you get 3,500 followers and 5,500 followers on Facebook. People are going to give you grief, but I thought we were poor again. I know it was a mixture of first teamers and stuff, so I'm not overly worried about the result. You know, we were an injury hit side, or an illness hit side, should I say. But it was good to get through, but it weren't very convincing.
Yeah, we were definitely the better side, though. I want to sort of it wasn't good, but I think we played some of the best possession that we've played all season so far in that first half. We didn't do anything with it. Attack versus defence. Yeah. They never really looked that threatening. I thought Norris had a good game, but didn't really have that much to do. And then the goal was just, I don't know, it was a momentary lapse maybe of concentration, but in the majority of the game we were brilliant defensively. Good to see some young kids come on. Mumbongo is getting praised now. It's turned into a bit of a meme. Bring Mumbongo on, let him start.
Yeah, it's all football Twitter kids, though, isn't it? Like, don't get me wrong, he did well, and obviously he got the assist for Vidra's goal. And without him on the pitch, I don't think Wood or Barnes would have because they're different sort of players. Wood and Barnes would have been waiting to try and get on the end of the cross, whereas Mbongo's dropped away and then he's trying to win the second ball, which he did, and then we scored the goal. So with them two on the pitch, I don't think that would have happened. However, he's played well for 10-15 minutes against League One MK Dons. Let's all relax. Don't get me wrong, he looks like he might be a decent player, but he's going to need more game time, more under 23s games. Let's not get carried away and start him against West Ham or start him against Man United like some people were suggesting. But yeah, it's definitely good to see him play.
Do you know an interesting point? Like, this is a cup, and I've made many a point that I want Benson and people like that to start breaking through via the cup.
Same.
Obviously, he couldn't break through. There's obvious reasons for that. Court needs game time. Stevens needs game time. Court is, for me, one of the links that's missing. Now, I don't want to drop Brownhill. I'm not saying that, but he's one of the links that's missing because the main problem we've had this year is connecting attack to defence. That sort of tenacity in midfield and doing the simple stuff. It's all right doing the attacking stuff, but doing the simple stuff sometimes, like your Dave Jones, like your Jack Court, is integral as well. So I do want to see him, but I believe that was the average age in that game for us 27 years old, 28 years old. That is high, mate. That's what I'm trying to say. High. That's our second team. So
but like you say, you've got Stevens and Corky in the middle. That's going to bump it up. They're both
you've got Stevens, Court, Barnes, Wood,
Barnsley.
Barnsley. There's a lot of over 30s there now, and 30s. So it was that's an interesting thing, and that just shows the next develop. Like we've said it, the investment that we want to see is who's going to come and take over these players is miles away still. But yeah, that's it. And then obviously, it was still good to get through. I still want an FA Cup result every now and again and a run.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I do want an FA Cup run, but could you imagine if we won it this year? I'd be gutted. I'd be buzzing and gutted at the same time. Imagine Burnley winning the FA Cup. I mean, it's not going to happen. Of course, it ain't going to happen. We ain't going to win it. But if we got to quarter-final or to semis, and then we don't, and we can't go, it's going to be dog shit.
I mentioned that for lesser clubs that are in not just the cup but in the leagues as well. Like, because Wickham have got a good draw, they've got Spurs.
Yeah.
And
look at Marine. I know they had a few fans there and stuff, but who were it? Crawley. They played Leeds. They couldn't go on. And
but you've
even
got thingy as well. Wickham are in the highest ever league this year. They've never been in the Championship, and they can't even go.
Even Leeds United, and I know I like to give them a bit of stick sometimes, but imagine getting promoted to the Premier League for the first time in 14, 16 years, and they couldn't go on. Now they brought the rules of coronavirus quite heavily and had a parade in the city centre, which the council said didn't break coronavirus laws, which it clearly fucking did. But that's a different.
You were working there then, weren't you?
I drove past and saw them all outside Ellen Road. I saw bloody Luke Ayling like that with trophy to what fans. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But yeah. Honestly, I literally just drove past, glanced up, and there's this big bus outside Ellen Road, like Ayling holding it like that. I'm like, fuck me.
That's funny, by the way, that you can actually drive past that. You won't get anywhere near that in normal terms, would you?
Well, it were up motorway, and you can. For those of you that know that way, the M621 goes past Ellen Road, and if you just glance to your right as you're going into Leeds city centre, you can see down onto the main road that goes past Leeds. That's basically how I could see it. But yeah, so we beat MK Dons on penalties. What do you make of Vidra in that game then? Because he came on, did all right, got the goal.
Mate, it was a game made for Vidra. I'm not saying that every game is like. Do I want to see him against West Ham? I'd like to see the excitement of him.
I want to see him come on earlier. I think that's where I'm at now. You can't just keep bringing him on at 82nd minute, Sean. If you're listening,
100%,
Alan, if you're listening, tell him.
Interestingly, by the way, like how we brought him on before Jay, I would never have called that ever.
No,
but
that were interesting.
So we've got West Ham, and then do I want to see Vidra start? Probably not, but I do want to see him earlier. I think you're right there, mate. But it was a game made for Vids. There's no doubts about it for me. That's where I want to see him. That's where I want to see him getting 2-3 goals, putting pressure on Wood. Would that motivate people?
Exactly. Like I said, I think Woody knows that the squad depth isn't there, and I'm not saying he's getting lazy. I'm not accusing him of that, but he knows that there's no competition for his place. He knows he's the best striker. He knows even when he's out of form, and he knows, and even if he had an inkling in the back of his mind, like, hold on, Vidra's quite quick here. He could end up, taking my place a bit. Sean don't fucking do it, so he knows. He's like, oh well, Sean doesn't think it. So we need more depth. We need more competition for places, and hopefully Vidra comes on against West Ham.
But
Gets a
hoping that
goal, that is
Woodall Barnsley
competition
get a
places.
couple of goals and then they get the momentum going again. I think that,
Yeah.
but I think it's worked in the adverse way,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it has.
I think it was a gamble that hasn't worked. But yeah, anyway, who do we get in the fourth round?
Fulham.
Fulham. I knew that. I was just leading it.
Shite.
We got a Fulham. Yeah, shit draw. Now, I was out and about when I heard this draw, and I was devastated. I was like,
Devastated's a bit much.
Well, I was, because like if you've got a big team, granted we're probably going to get beat, but at least you tune in because you think, we might, it'd be good to get a little victory over City for once.
No,
or whatever.
honestly, I'd rather get knocked out than play City. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, to be fair. But when it was like coming down to it, and I heard the teams that were left, and then you just thought I didn't want any of them. And then Fulham comes, and I thought Fulham away as well. It was like a double negative.
That's the worst one. I don't know why it's a double negative, but I felt the same because we can't go. We wouldn't have gone. We can't go on the home game. So, it's just ingrained into you, innit? You're seeing away tie down in London against a shit side, and you just think, oh, but it don't matter because we're just going to be sat in the same room watching it anyway.
And this is my point, right? Because I thought to myself, that's the kind of game that typically Burnley will lose, even though we should win because we're a better side. And you see, it's just an away day at Fulham, and we're probably going to lose it. So what's the fucking point? However, the 5th round draw was then made half an hour later by Crouchy.
Yeah.
And who did we get in that one?
Bournemouth or Crawley?
Bournemouth or
So
Crawley.
the incentive is there to get.
So now
to the
all
quarters.
of a sudden I'm like, fucking Fulham, come on lads, let's beat Fulham, get through against Crawley because they'll beat Bournemouth, and then we're at quarterfinals or something.
And then we'll get beat by Watford, Marlon Beresford, free kick, sprawling. Imagine.
Oh,
Watford are out. It can't happen. Watford are out. It can't happen. Obviously, I'm going back to, what were it, 1998, 99, that were? 2000? Them sort of that. They're 2002, actually, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I think it was before that. Beresford went before that, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, unless it were Beresford. Anyway, irrelevant. We'll get it. That's irrelevant. But, yeah, so I agree with you, though. The incentive's there to beat Fulham. It's just... And I still don't think we will. We'll end up seeing Fulham in semis playing against Liverpool at Wembley and thinking, oh.
I was questioning everything to do with the FA Cup. You know, like the coronavirus is on. The fact that we're playing a second side that doesn't really excite me at the minute. I don't see the youth coming through or anything at the minute. And then we get Fulham. And then they tell me that they're going to do the 4th and 5th round together. I'm like, what's the fucking point in that? Like, I want to see the 5th round. I want to win the 4th round and get buzzing for the 5th round draw. But then all of a sudden, it all just came together. And I thought, you know what? This actually ain't a bad thing doing the 4th and 5th together. Because, like you said, it sensitises sometimes. If you've got a poor draw in the 4th, actually, we could do a good one in the 5th here. I think it's not a bad idea now. I've seen it working.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing it for COVID reasons, aren't they? I don't think it's something they're going to do.
I like it.
From now on. But if you get like City in the 4th and then Liverpool or Man United in the 5th, you might as well just stick
you're
your
already
kids out.
defeat, aren't you?
Yeah. Just stick your under 18s out and forget it. And to be fair, my dad texted me saying Fulham away, crap draw, and I put, stick kids out, forget it. And then I did similar sort of things to you, and then my dad texted me again saying Bournemouth or thingy, we could go on a cup run like that, and then I put on TurfCast, semis, here we come. Obviously I was joking.
Fucking hell, can you imagine if we win it this year, we've won one game. We've won one game.
We scraped past against the League One side on penalties, and we're all going on about the semis and potentially winning it. Because Man United or Liverpool are going to get knocked out. One of them's gone. So that's one of the big six.
You've got to play one big team along the way, but how many teams in the previous FA Cups, when there's been an underdog, like your Bradfords, like your Wigan years ago, like who was the other one that went in on not long ago? Swansea. And then you look at them, the
Portsmouth
draw
won it, didn't they, recently? I say recently,
the draw, 15, 20 years. When you look at it, fell on their laps. You know what I mean? The road that I was literally, I can see us paving the fucking way to Wembley Way, as I called it yesterday.
Yeah.
And it just seems that if you're not going to do it this fucking year, granted Fulham's not an easy game, I'm not saying it is, neither is Bournemouth, but it's easier than we normally get at this stage, them 3 games. So if you're not going to do it this year, then don't fucking enter next year. Just say we're not playing. Pick it up your ass.
Do what Man United did that year. Do you remember when they got to Club World Cup and they just said, we're not playing it FA Cup, lads. So they had to draw that lucky loser out.
Oh yeah,
someone got beaten. Someone got beaten second round.
Absolutely battered for it.
Yeah, someone got beaten second round, and because United weren't entering at the third round, they put all the losers from the second round into a hat and drew a lucky loser. And I can't remember who it were, but I'm fucking adamant they just got beat again at third round. I'm fucking pointless. Should have given someone a bar. But that's it then for United, MK Dons and the FA Cup draw. One thing I do want to discuss is Alan Pace. Shout out Al if you're listening, he follows the page. I don't think he listens, but you never know. If you do, give me a shout. The new AI Scout thing that Burnley have done.
Yeah.
The artificial intelligence. I've downloaded it. Now,
have a look.
I might even give it a go. You never know. I'll just put a fake date of birth in. They might give me a bell.
An age thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what were it, like over 14 to 19 or 18 or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I put a fake.
I think that was the Burnley one. Have you seen the Chelsea one?
There's a Chelsea one.
Chelsea are on there. If you look further down the app, and it's 4 to 20. They're looking. That's Austin, the 4-year-old. He's in Garden. Do some laps.
My son's only 2. I'm gutted.
Oh.
He don't even pay any attention to football. Winds me up. I'll start kicking the ball. I'm like, play football, Parker. He's like, no. And then he starts playing with some cars. I'm like, forget it then.
I mean, obviously you're going to go into that, but the negative that I found straight away is Louis the goalkeeper. There doesn't seem to be any goalkeeper performance drills on there.
Right, that's interesting. Because I thought it would be made up for. I thought it would be perfect for obviously Louis. Louis being a keen footballer and quite a good goalkeeper. But yeah, let's. I'm not going to go in too much into the app because I haven't really been on it. I've downloaded it in anticipation of maybe doing it and maybe filming myself and sticking it on YouTube. But then I thought, nah, shit that because I'll just be shitting and everyone will take piss. But what do you think of the idea?
I'm not a massive fan of it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why is that?
I'm a huge technology guy. I love tech. I love gadgets. I love the concept of this, but I don't think it works in real football. I really don't. How many programs have we seen over the years, like Wayne Rooney's Street Soccer, and that one where if you won it, I can't remember the exact name of the program, but it was Sky One, and if you won, you ended up being a Chelsea graduate for the next 2 years.
Well, doesn't Jamie Vardy have a soccer school?
I'm not sure about
that. I think that's a similar sort of thing. Or Leicester did something. I know there's a player at Bradford City who won the Jamie Vardy thing. It's called Conor
Jamie
Wood.
Vardy does. It's like it's a competition, but it's almost like a cover up for a scouting mission in the non-league. Basically, they basically look at non-league players, get them in an 11-a-side game against each other, the best non-leaguers, and then pick one out to say, right, we've got your contract. But yeah, I think that's the Jamie Vardy concept. This concept, for example, though, I think that all these street programs and all this thing where if you pass all these drill tests and things, I remember the guy who won the Chelsea one. I can't remember his name, but I remember he was a left back at Chelsea, and it was like Hutchinson. I think it was his last name, or Higginbottom. It would begin with H and it belonged. And he never went on to make it, but he ticked all the fucking boxes of the drill work and the thingy, which is what they're asking you to do. Now that's in real time, and they've seen him in real life and picked him and said, yeah, this guy's going to be good enough for Chelsea. I don't even think he played that much for professional football. Now, how are you meant to pick a player from stickman by turning him into a stickman and then sending it into an analytical thing, data guy? Not 100% sure it will work. I understand it. I just don't know if it'll work. I really don't. Because football's... How many times do we say football's an opinion sport? How many times do we say we wouldn't have him in our team, but yet he's scoring 10 goals in the Premier League for someone else?
But like if you look at some of the old school defenders, Ben Mee, if you have asked Ben Mee to do it, I've not seen the drills, for example, but if you ask Ben Mee to do a kick-up drill or a skill drill or whatever, it's going to look like a fucking... a Sunday League player, like you say. So you're not going to find any decent like defenders and stuff on there.
Well, Nick Pope wouldn't have got through with his kicking and legs, would he?
Exactly. So I do get that side of it. However, I like the idea of it. I like the idea that it's going to open us up to a potential audience. A potential pool is the right word of millions. Potential, it won't be millions, obviously, but potential millions of people that we wouldn't necessarily got to look at. I agree with your side of things. I don't necessarily think that side of it will work, but it will, however, get all these people in that do good on the app into the club that then they can form an opinion on that they wouldn't have necessarily done it. So that's a good way of getting people in. I don't think it's a good way to decide on people to give them a contract. It's definitely a good way of getting people into the club. And the other thing that I like about it is people from all over the world are going to be downloading this app. They're going to be seeing Burnley Football Club on there. They're going to now be
Yeah, I
aware
like
of
the
Burnley
branding
Football
aspect. I love
Club.
that.
Yeah, exactly. This is obviously what we talked about the other week on last week's podcast. So it's going to open Burnley Football Club to millions more people, and not just people in Barnoldswick and Burnley and stuff like that. People are going to be aware of us further away. So I do like that side of it, and I do like the scouting side of it to a certain extent, because it can get somebody into the club that you can then form an opinion on. I'm
just unsure of how it's going to translate. I really don't understand how it's going to work, but I like the idea of it. I like the one concept is I think I've seen on it that like you can register your team. So maybe that scouts are going to say, do you know what, these are, like, for example, Louis plays in Tier 1, I think it is, in the North West, in the Lancashire League. And then it might make them think, right, well, these guys have won it. Let's just analyse these as a team. I think things like that would be beneficial, but getting my 4-year-old in this garden now, running around corners, and then getting invited to Chelsea just seems bizarre.
Can you imagine if Austin were playing for Chelsea, like 3-month Chelsea under 5s? That'd be absolutely legendary. You and John Terry besties.
Is it at Villa?
Oh, he is at Villa now, isn't he?
Still be his mate, though. No, what? I don't like him, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's a prick. That's why I put you two together. West Ham. I've got to start working 15 minutes, but obviously we've got to look at the West Ham game. West Ham this Saturday at the London Stadium. West Ham are a weird sort of team this season. They look a bit better than they have done in recent years.
Yeah, they're good side. We're good players, good manager, but they're that type of team, like your Newcastles, that seem to, they'll nick a result against Chelsea or at home, or they'll nick a result against Arsenal. The bigger games, the derbies and things like that, they seem to do it, but then their fans are more frustrated, from what I understand, because they're getting beat against teams like Burnley, as they would say. That's not what I'm saying, but our recent history there has not been bad.
No, well
there. I've never been overly happy going to West Ham, but recently it's been a bit better. So who knows? It's probably got a 0-0 boring draw written all over it. Moyes versus Dash.
Take it 100%. It's going to be 0-0 or 1-0 to somebody, isn't it? But they got beat off Newcastle on the first day of the season. Now I do think they're a lot better now, but that just goes to show that type of team, because I know a lot of people make comparisons between Bruce and Dash, can do a job on West Ham. So fingers crossed we can do it, and I think we can get a win. Because we've been playing well recently. I do think it's more likely to be a draw. But just before we start wrapping up, what's your predictions for the West Ham game?
Like you said, 0-0, 1-0. I hope we could get a 1-0 win, to be honest with you. I'll go for 1-0 Clarets.
I'm gonna go for 1-1 then. I know Mark will be listening and thinking he's sat up fence again, but it's because I think sometimes with the way that we're playing at the minute, and as we've put up earlier in the season, the attack versus defence thing, I do think it just we made up for draws. Like this side is made for draws, 0-0s, 1-1s, because we don't attack too much and we defend pretty well. So they're definitely made for low scoring games anyway.
On a positive note, just to sort of reiterate where we are, we started shocking this season. We've had a bit of a good run. We're still criticising players, even though we're on a decent form, to be fair. I know we're not scoring goals, but our point score is still where you would want to be for survival. 1 point per game on average is just over it, is that technically, but is where you want to be, and we match that. So there's no reason to go into any game scared or concerned or stressed or getting onto the players' backs yet. I think we're still in a good position, and considering the start we have, we should be buzzing that we're here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still think we'll be okay. I think the last two games we've lost were Leeds. Everyone knows what happened there. An absolute disgrace. If we had a competent referee, we would not have lost that game. And Manchester United have just gone top of the league. So there's a reason why they're top of the league.
Yeah, and if the referee had sent Shaw off, it'd have been a different game again. So.
But then, in your opinion, he should have given the Maguire goal, so we could have got beat 4-5-0 out after that.
Yeah, but the Maguire goal wouldn't have happened because he didn't have Luke Shaw crossing it.
True. Was it Luke Shaw that crossed it?
I don't know.
No, I'm going to say there's no way you'd have remembered that. There's no way you'd have remembered that. I got that spot on. Before I wrap up, because like I say, I've got to start working 10 minutes now. We had a couple of messages this week. Obviously, we did a big sort of like thread last week, which we effectively stole off George Poole, and I said, I wonder why he's called Puddle and Pool. Well, George's dad listens to the podcast, and I wasn't aware of that. He's called Ian. Shout out to Ian. He says, "Aya, George is called Pool, but because he is a small pool, we call him Puddle." So he's like instead of a. I've never had a chat with his dad before. I was aware of him because George tags him in a lot of pictures of cycling and things like that. So I was aware of who he was through social media, but I've never met him. But yeah, I didn't know he listened. So shout out to Ian and shout out to George Pool / Puddle for listening. Sorry, shout out to Ian, should I say, not shout out to George for listening. Although George did get in touch and said something about what we said on the podcast. So obviously George listens as well. He's obviously just checking out the competition. And another message we had was off Chris Pickles. Now this is why I do it. I don't read every single message out, but this is the sort of reason why I do it. He said, decided to give TurfCast podcast a listen to tonight in the bath. I didn't need to know that bit, Chris. First time listener, and I'm very impressed. I may have had the word "very" there. He just says I'm impressed. Then he tags Alan, obviously the new chairman, Alan Pace BFC. He says, "Alan, if you haven't already listened, give their latest episode a listen. They share the views of many of the club's fans and make some really valid points on all things Burnley FC." So thank you, Chris, for that. That is why I do. I do it to get new listens. I do it to, like I said, try and build a community around the podcast, and I do it so people enjoy it. That's basically what I want people to do. I want people to enjoy it, and Chris has, and it made me happy. So thank you. And if you do enjoy it, get me know. Get in touch, should I so. Get in touch. I always end up flapping when I'm wrapping up because I'm thinking about everything I need to say. Get in touch and let me know because it makes me happy. So if you want to make me happy, get in touch and tell me you like the podcast. But that's it for me, Sound, unless there's anything you want to add.
No, thanks for having us about.
No, thank you. Hopefully you like the new sort of that backdrop, everybody. I'll just quickly zoom out. Not that far, actually, because that looks rubbish. You like the new backdrop. Oh, the American flag's there. There it is. Simon's got some lighting as well. You can't really see it as well because we're doing it in daytime. We bought all this lighting and then we decided to do it in the daytime. But it saves me having to edit it tonight, and I can actually go on Call of Duty tonight because I didn't get to go on last night. I expected a text off you when you finished watch along. Nothing.
I said it on the watch along, sorry. I said, like, right, anyone coming on? God, I'll be on in 5. And then I went on.
Did you go on?
Yeah.
You bastard. Been on COD without me.
So
everybody get in touch and tell Simon he's a prick.
Well, yeah, tonight.
Obviously I don't have to edit. I am working until 9, so I won't be able to go on it until after that. But yeah, I'll definitely be on tonight. Although Mrs. is working, but I'm sure she'll understand. I haven't been on for 2 nights, love. So
I know you've done a 12-hour shift on a cold ward, but
I'm playing on Call of Duty. Go to bed. She'll, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say, I think. But shout out to Ian. Thanks for your message. Shout out to Chris. Thanks for your message. Shout out to everyone else. Hopefully there was a fan reaction. I've asked for one. Yeah, we didn't get one for the MK Dons game. Obviously, everyone listening to this now will have already listened to the fan reaction from the Manchester United match. But I am recording this on Wednesday morning. So I won't have edited the fan reaction in until Thursday night. We haven't actually had one sent yet. Fingers crossed Neil gets his sent in, Stuart gets his sent in, Anti-Football gets theirs sent in, Kieran gets his sent in. I think Dan said he were going to do one, an audio one, but never got round to it. So if there was a fan reaction earlier in the show, you can ignore all of this. If there wasn't, then that means we didn't get any sent in. And fingers crossed everyone listening to this one, I'll think, I forgot to do it. I'll do it next week for them. But that's it for me. That's it from Simon. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of TurfCast Podcast. I will hopefully be back soon with a pre-match show for the West Ham game. We'll stream that on Friday or Saturday morning, provided I can get somebody. I have been in touch with somebody, but I haven't confirmed a time or anything yet. But fingers crossed, I will see you there. If not, I will be doing a watch-along. I will be available this week. I won't leave it all down to Simon again because I'm not working on Saturday. So if you don't see you for the fan reaction, because there isn't one, and I don't see you for the pre-game show because there isn't one, we'll see you for the watch-along. If we don't see you for that because it ain't your thing, we'll see you for next week's podcast.